Hello, and welcome to We Are Biostimulant, the official podcast of biostimulant.com, where we talk all things biostimulant with interesting people from around the globe. I'm Monica. Thank you for joining us. Today we are joined by Emma Ralph, Managing Director of Interagrow, a global adjuvant and biostimulant leader based in the UK. Emma, thanks for being here. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Absolute pleasure speaking to you.
We'd like to have our listeners get to know a little bit more about you. Can you tell us a little about your role with Interagrow and the biostimulant industry?
Yes, I'm Managing Director of Interagrow. We're a UK-based business and we specialise in adjuvants and biostimulants. We've recently actually opened a new office in the Netherlands as well. So we trade in the UK and also majority of Europe, and we're now starting to trade outside of Europe as well in parts of Africa. We are an R&D company at heart, so we pride ourselves on manufacturing products which are innovative and also finding solutions for farmers and agronomists. And I think there are no end to the problems that we're actually facing moving forward with pressures on crop protection products through resistance and regulatory changes as well. And we're always looking to find solutions for the farmers and also get the best out of the products. So this is where biostimulants come into their own alongside our adjuvants as well. So we're continuing looking to produce, to get products, to produce high quality food in the marketplace for a growing population. So this is where I think biostimulants really come into their own.
What did you find so interesting about the biostimulants 5 or 6 years ago that made you want to get involved to the extent that you have?
Okay, I think it was actually finding an alternative solution for farmers. As I said before, with pressures on crop protection and the pipeline of crop protection products coming into the marketplace, we really needed to start focusing on another avenue. Now, I see that the biostimulant side adding, looking at the plant health, helping out with stress. And as you can, we're experiencing at the moment huge sways in climatic conditions from flooding through to drought. And I really felt that actually bringing the biostimulants as an option for farmers, this was an area that we definitely needed to be involved in. And that was where the market was moving. There was a lot of talk about biostimulants.
Okay, and the biostimulants that you began with 5 or 6 years ago, what types were those?
We've always been involved in plant-based biostimulants, amino acids, basically. Because I want full traceability in the food chain. I want a product which has got a good environmental profile as well with green labelling. So we've only ever been involved in plant-based amino acids.
And with those plant-based amino acids, are you seeing or have you seen a change in how the plants and the crops are handling the climatic challenges and those extraordinary sways that you speak to?
Yes, very much so. And I think this was very evident from the trials that we were laying down, that there was improved plant health. And that was very, very visual to the naked eye when you were looking at the initial trials anyway. And also it was giving that plant, whether it was, cereals or whether it was sugar beet or potatoes, that actually really boosted that plant growing forward as well. So it was really giving it the tools to cope with any stress that came in, whether it was climatic conditions or, abiotic or biotic stress that plant was actually going through. So yes.
Okay. I'm referencing the article that you had sent to me, that you had written for for parliamentary review. I don't know how long ago you wrote this article.
It was last summer. So it went out, it was printed last autumn.
Okay, and in it you reference the ever-tightening restrictions on the crop protection toolbox. Yes. And how biostimulants is one of the elements that you're finding helpful in providing farmers alternatives to work within those restrictions.
Yes, I think biostimulants offer another solution for farmers. and it is a valuable tool at enhancing the crop performance and also enhancing some of the performance of the crop protection products that are being put on. We're being challenged every day with more stricter sort of regulatory issues, and the marketplace is changing quite drastically. So it's giving those farmers an additional tool to actually work with. And I really feel that the biostimulants have very many multi-functions in that process as well.
And as far as adoption of use from the farmers, are
Yes.
you seeing any resistance to the use of biostimulants? Are they welcoming the use of biostimulants? What do you see in the market from the growers themselves?
Well, I think actually attitudes have changed quite dramatically over the last few years. And this is why we've been trying to put in a lot more science behind the products and to give them the tools to actually understand how the elements actually work, how they interact with the crop, and what each part of the biostimulant, the different amino acids and how they're helping that crop grow. So attitudes have changed. I think to start off with, there was a lot of, we don't really understand how they're being used, and they were just trialing them or using them because it was the buzzword in the marketplace. So we've got a lot more buy-in from the farmers, although we still have got a lot to prove on that front. And we're learning all the time about how the biostimulants in whichever form are actually working. But attitudes have changed quite a bit over the last 10 years, I'd say.
Okay. What would you say is the reason for the change in attitude?
I think some of it is down to user experience, and especially where farmers have actually seen a positive benefit. I think also, as I mentioned earlier on, we've been working very, very closely with a number of universities, and one of them is the University of Nottingham here in the UK. And we've been doing a lot of routing work, early applications, looking at foliar applications at the laboratory in the universities. And that scientific work is actually helping sell the story about biostimulants, and farmers are buying into that, and they can actually then link that into what they're seeing in the field. But we still have a lot of work to do on that front.
Can you tell us specifically some of the benefits that they are seeing in the field, the actual benefits to the crops with these biostimulants that you work with?
Very much so. We've had very, very consistent results with the root crops such as sugar beet, also potatoes, carrots and onions. It's helping with natural defence of diseases coming in. It's giving the plants a much more improved sort of health profile as well. So it's really setting them up. It's greening of the leaves. It's helping where you've got stress environments. Early applications help with root development, and I think this is why we're seeing a much healthier crop earlier on because of that initial boost in root development as well. But it's very visual to the eye when you walk into a field, when you can see that the biostimulant's been applied.
Okay. What crop stages are you applying the biostimulants and seeing these kind of results?
We're actually applying it throughout the whole growing phase of the crop. It depends on the crop, but we're looking at 2 or 3 applications, if not more, throughout that growing phase. So we would normally say, to go in when you're going in with a crop protection product or micronutrient, but it's a continual phase throughout the life cycle.
The application of these biostimulants have different benefits to
Very
the
much
different.
so.
Okay.
Yes, very much so. So early on with root development, and then as the plant is growing through sort of a rapid growth phase of that crop, we're applying it as well. And then once that crop goes into either flowering or fruiting, a lot of energy is taken up into those areas. So we see a huge benefit of applying that biostimulant, as I said before, whether it's abiotic or biotic stress.
Can you talk to us a little bit about how the use of these biostimulants and other types, what elements of the growing process get affected with biostimulants that actually contribute to sustainability overall?
Yes, one thing we're looking at the moment is with biostimulants and also our other adjuvants in the portfolio, that they're valuable tools for enhancing crop performance And this therefore leads to capturing carbon and increasing the crop's resilience. So we've got a big area at the moment talking about carbon accounting, and I really see that within the sustainability side, that the biostimulants and adjuvants actually link into that very nicely.
Interesting. Recently, we posted an article on biostimulant.com. It was by Professor Manuela Giovannetti of the University of Pisa. Now, he was talking about mycorrhizae as a biostimulant, but it was very interesting because they were able to measure the improvements in quality markers of the fruits and vegetables based on the use of mycorrhizae as a biostimulant. And I'm curious as to, with all the work that you've done with the universities, whether you have seen quality markers improved with biostimulants.
Yes, we have, and the work is still in its initial stages, but we have seen that link and that correlation. So we've got a lot more work planned this season where we're looking at improving the rooting and also the shoot length in young wheat and barley plants. And we're currently measuring those with time-lapse photography as well. So we're doing a lot at that level this season to develop our knowledge.
And are there any particular technologies that you see as, wow, this is really, really interesting?
That's a very good question. And I think it's development within the biostimulant area with the biopesticides as well. They're all linking in to look at greener products and better labeling, more environmentally sound products. But this whole area is exceptionally exciting moving forward.
So you see a bright future, it sounds like, for biostimulants.
Very much so, and I see it as an integral part of farming moving forward and an integral part of any spray program moving forward as well. So we're looking at innovating the biostimulants as well. We're looking at a whole new area within this sector. So I see it as a very exciting future moving forward, but it has got to come back to the science behind the products at the end of the day as well.
Okay. And how about from a regulatory standpoint? Are you facing any particular challenges there?
Yes, very much so. And this whole area, the regulatory area for biostimulants is changing. And over this summer, we'll find out actually how that is going to move forward for the future. But this sector will change and there will be new regulatory standards coming in.
One thing we hear a lot about is there's a lot of noise in the biostimulant segment. How do growers and distributors make their way through all that noise? There's a lot of science, there's a lot of maybe not so good science. How do they make it through all that noise?
I know there's an awful lot of information there, and I think it's working with partners in the marketplace that you can actually trust the information that is being produced, and to actually break it down into a way that everybody understands. But you have to have a key partner, I think, to work with in the marketplace on that front. And we've got some very key distributors we're working with in the UK and also in Europe. And it's giving them the information, the tools to actually be able to talk with confidence to the rest of their teams and to the growers about these products.
Interesting. So that traditional distributor who serves as the middleman, not just for product, but really for the product information and the science, and really keeping himself on the forefront of understanding what's coming to provide that accurate information. Is that correct?
Yeah, very much so. And it's breaking that information that you've got down into bite-sized chunks that actually everybody understands, because as you've just rightly said, there is a huge amount of information in the marketplace and you can get lost in that information. So I think it's key having strategic partners and, so you can trust the information. And that's what we're doing. We're gathering, we're working, we're understanding more about the biostimulants, and that scientific information we're breaking down into knowledge for agronomists and for farmers that they actually understand and can pass on that information.
Emma, are there any areas that I didn't ask you about that you'd like to share some information about?
I mean, we pride ourselves on finding solutions for farmers and growers with our portfolio of products. And I say biostimulants are a valuable tool in enhancing crop performance and productivity. And we really believe in that. And that's, part of our future plans moving forward.
Excellent. Well, that's about all the time we've got. Emma, it's been a real pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us and for sharing with us your perspective on what's happening with biostimulants.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed our conversation with Emma and her insights into the European biostimulant market. To learn more about biostimulants, we invite you to visit biostimulant.com and be sure to check out the previous podcasts and all the great resources throughout the site.